Hello, I'm Lynn with Midlife No Crisis, and this is going to be the March garden tour. I'm so excited. Finally, the weather is absolutely beautiful here in South Carolina, and so many things have woken up and are starting to thrive. It is looking like life again, and that's very exciting. So let's get out there and take a tour. This is the east side of the house, what we call the kitchen garden. Have not done much over here yet. Arbor is cleaned up completely. Hospital bed over here on the side where I just toss things is being taken over by, I'm gonna call them shamrocks. I'm not sure the proper name. If I find it, I'll put it up here. Again, arbor's been cleaned off. There's some irises coming up. I believe I saw some Mexican petunias down here coming up right there. Mexican petunias. I got a little spider wart over here in the hospital bed. I've already dug out all the Lenten roses. Already dug those out and put them in a sunny spot where some of these holes were. And I find a home for that spider wart. There was a couple of daffodils in here we got out. But this is just kind of our, like I said, hospital area. Here we have the shamrocks looking good. The lamb's ear coming in. Nice. A variegated liriope behind there. Close. Irises again coming along through here. My lemongrass is deceased. I've got the half that I overwintered. I've not cleaned up the trash back here behind. When I say trash, I mean the dead parts with the seed heads for my lemon balm down here, but you can see it's coming back out. I need to get back here behind the bench and clean that up. Haven't cleaned up the table and chairs, need to do that. We've had quite a bit of rain again, so my tote's full of rain. Look at this elephant garlic going wild down through the big middle. That's left over from last year. Some irises here on the end on the outside. Oh, sorry, not irises. Well, that's iris on the very end, but this is daylilies. Don't remember what color they were. I try to plant in the blocks. You can see there's a little sedum in this corner block over here. Irises are very shallow. I tend to put them along the outside. I need to separate them by color this year. I see I've got a white one blooming over here, and as the others bloom, I'll try to keep track of that. But bed number one here just has the elephant garlic left over from last year, and on the other end I planted, and they're already up, Egyptian walking onions. So I'm excited about that. I had left them bulbels or bulblets, whatever you call them, bulbs, in the bag. I know I must have bought them like I think before I got sick last year, so it's probably last year around maybe May of last year. I just had left them in a bag. They were pretty dried up, so this is exciting. Something has been digging here. Not happy about that, but we'll just have to figure it out. Again, here's my little Egyptian walking onions coming up. Excitement. Haven't planted out anything yet in this bed this year. The second bed here is still full of red clover. I've turned over a little bit as I wanted to plant out a few little onions from kitchen scraps. And look, my lavender is alive over here. I believe this was the Munstead varieties over here. They looked pretty dead for the winter, but they are putting out nice and green. Iris here on the outside. Iris on the outside. I've got some bag of coffee grounds there. I need to finish putting that out. And this bed on the end, rosemary is happy. A little bit of sedum out here. Rosemary is very, very happy. Beautiful. Got to get me a, yeah. Oh my gosh. I wish I could smell this. while I'm here. And then inside the blocks is a different variety. I believe this is true lavender inside the blocks. My son and I have been battling a groundhog, or some groundhogs, but I think we are winning. We put up concrete blocks on the other side out there in my daughter's yard, and I know it's been at least a week, maybe 2 weeks, since no groundhog digging holes through here. This lamb's ear that wasn't even supposed to be in there has taken over. Last year it was maybe one little, oh, come here, I want your picture. Went around to the other side. There you are. Are you friend or foe? Are you Lady Blogo or are you orange? I will have to take a closer look at you when I get inside and put my glasses on. But anyway, from a like single sprig of lamb's ear last year, you can see this is the size of my hand down here, so how much it has indeed spread, and I will find it a new home. I believe back here, sit down so I can get back here and actually rub it and smell it with the other hand, since I'm rosemaried up over here. This is, oh yes, very nice sage. Right here, sage. Doing well, not very big. Hoping I can get a nice big area of sage this year. This is Greek oregano coming back beautifully. You can see that it's a nice size. Harvested last year. One harvest, the biggest harvest was a full laundry basket. So other space, I don't really see anything coming back here. I have Russian tarragon, but I now know I was wanting French tarragon because that's the good smeller and the good cooker. So I'm not sure what I will do about my lovely Russian. I'll probably just let it stay until I need this space, and if it indeed, it really does not have much smell or fragrance, but if we can't use it for cooking and it doesn't make a pretty flower or smell, I probably will do away with it. Let's see. If this was a daffodil, it didn't bloom. It's more likely to be an onion of some sort. I'm not sure, but I'll sort that out. Again, this bed doesn't have much in it. It is partially shaded from this huge mulberry tree in the corner over here, and from the front from the Carolina jasmine, which is almost finished blooming, but it is beautiful. I have a variegated sage over here, if you see that. Get a nice little rub so I can smell it. Oh gosh, smells great. I'm gonna try to take some cuttings and propagate that. I want a nice large section. So kitchen garden, I'll be getting herbs moved up here at the gate here. Very nice sedum from a friend of mine, Rhonda. And more lamb's ear taking over wherever it wants to this year. You can see that when I see the grass pop up, when I see grass heads, seeds, it scares me. So all this trash on my sidewalk, that is just the number of times I've walked through here and just pulled some and tossed it over on the concrete. I'll come through with a wheelbarrow later and try to clean up my little piles, but that's just me, you know, weeding as I go instead of waiting for all of it. Come out the front here. I'm gonna walk up. Here's our orchard area in the sun. Down there were the trees. That's my only little shaded area. Here's the front of the house, but I'm gonna walk up to the mailbox for a moment. We haven't looked at the mailbox area. It was full, or is full, of cannas. And I asked one of my sons to fire up the lawnmower and just roll over all of them so the new cannas could start putting out, and you see here they come, so that's awesome. The daffodils are not pretty anymore. They have all died back, but that was all daffodils. And then the yarrow here on the side is coming back. I like to run the lawnmower over, and after I run the lawnmower, then I can clearly see where the grass weeds are. So I am going to try my best get the grass weeds pulled out of here before all my cannas come back up. Okay, this is what I mean when I say I'm getting help. This is my son Holden, trying to weed out the canna area. Thank you, Holden. Making these little videos is a way, I guess, of having some accountability. On the back side of the orchard here, or the side closer to the road, I have 3 apple trees, 1, 2, 3. You see them in the mulch. The mulch has been spread out. I believe in the February video you saw piles and piles, mountains across the front. If you didn't, go back and look. And then I've got 1, 2, 3 blueberries up here. You can see here's a blueberry, and then down through there are more. Some azaleas left over from my original front yard landscape before I redid the front of my house and took out tons of trees. I have 1 fruit tree here, was the only one that didn't get killed during the construction phase. And I am not totally sure try to get a good view of the leaf. It's either a pear or a plum. And I will use a plant identifier and try to figure that out. You see I've got some periwinkle vine in here. I do agree it's pretty, but it's became very invasive in my last garden. And so, pretty little white daffodil over there. I had been just ripping it out and getting rid of it, but I don't know what I'll do. So I've got a couple of daylilies here. Looks like I've got a rose campion hidden in there too. And some mondew grass or liripe, solid color up here. Daffodils have already come and gone since February. Pretty large mass of daisies here. Probably will separate some of those out and move them. Daylilies. These may be orange. I do have some true like Stella d'Oro yellow daylilies, but here the orange ones are prolific, and we tend to refer to them as ditch lilies. Tons of strawberries. You'll see that I use strawberries as a ground cover. Here is a fig coming in beautifully. This is, okay, so these are long skinny leaves. That would lead me to believe that this is a peach. I've got some plant tags somewhere. Oh, don't know what I did with them. I know that I have 2 peaches, 2 plums, 2 pears, but I'm not sure what's what. This looks like another field of lamb's ear. Plenty of irises here. So in my original front yard, which was wooded, I had lots of azaleas and irises and daffodils, lamb's ear and such. You'll see around my fruit trees that I've put in, since we're trying to turn this into an orchard now, rings of coffee grounds. I get those from Starbucks. Okay, so this is another leaf that looks like a peach to me. So I'm going to put a peach. So this is either Alberta or Belle of Georgia, because those are the only 2 I bought, excuse me. Ugh. And I think this would be the other one. This down here, you can see that there's strawberries and coffee grounds underneath. So I guess I'm at risk of a 50-50 on the variety. This fig has not put out yet. Fingers crossed. Come on back to me, brother. Hope you're good. Now this, look at this leaf. Not wavy. It's either a pear or a plum. What's the vote here? Oh, positive. Pear or plum? Well, for now, I'm just going to stick my tags in, and then I'll work towards figuring it out. This also similar. Pear or plum. And then this. Oh no, looks like another peach to me. Bless it. All right, I know I have 2 peach, 2 pear, 2 plum. I've got the varieties on my tags. For now, I'm just going to stick them in the ground. Oh wait, that one already has one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the other one on the end. Okay, So I'll move those as I discover what is true. You can see along the hill here next to my future driveway, we've planted masses, you can see straight through, down through there, of what I'll refer to as ditch lilies, because these are just the orange ones, and strawberries, and that's the dual purpose. I love the flowers, are beautiful, love the fruit if it gets the strawberry, but I'm primarily trying to maintain this edge, you know, this slope, to keep it from washing away, so that when I do get my driveway in, it'll be locked in and not always raining down with mulch. So speaking of rain, we have had some rain. All this vetch needs to be pulled up, purple vetch, and that way I'll get to see if my Mexican petunias will be coming back. I hope so. Everybody says they're invasive and whatever. Again, I hope so, because I do not like grass. So tons of daffodils. I have a blackberry here. Here is the third apple tree, second one, and the first one we were at. It's all there. Oh, wait. Here's another little fruit tree that needs a label. So I will be figuring this out. Lots of strawberries, you can see. Daffodils, figs. The figs down here, looks like this one is waking up. I can see a little green growth on that fig. And this one down here, waking up, beautiful. This is more shaded down here, so daffodils are still hanging in a little better. Again, this is my only shaded area. Every Gigi needs a tree swing. I've always had tree swings when my children were little, and have them now. Beautiful old azalea there. I've lived here 25 years and it was old when I moved here. Looks like we've got some more lambs here just popping in everywhere. Little irises, typically around the trees because they don't have much of a root structure. See some hostas coming back from last year. Another daylily in here. Azalea, butterfly bush behind the azalea. A camellia here, again, a very old single one, not blooming right now because they bloom all winter, thank goodness. There is a rose campion in there. Can't wait till that blooms. These are some kind of lilies, I can't remember. Glad to see they're coming back. You see all the sticks and stuff, so not everything's been picked up or cleaned up. Here is a nice little spread of yarrow that we can come back and clean up. A little bit of a juga, and it's trying to bloom. This is where I moved my hellebores from my friend Peggy. Had given me some hellebores that my daughter picked up while I was in the hospital and just put them, I was in the real hospital, put them in my plant hospital bed back there. And it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that lived through that process. Oh, one of them here is still blooming. Oh, 7. Look at that precious hellebore. They are so pretty. Don't remember what this is called right now, but it blooms blue and I love it. Again, here's some mints, a peppermint and an apple mint in containers, coming back nicely from the winter. You see the irises around the tree, and this is what I mean, Brad, that they can just lay on the ground. I don't like that look. I'll put some mulch over them, but if you get them too deep, they'll stop blooming. I've got, here's some yellow irises. Again, I'm trying to pay attention to the colors this year. Across the ridge up here, those are all Rosa Sharon. Again, just to hold that hill in. That stuff is so easy to propagate. I'll be working on getting that filled in some more. There's some, a little bit of yarrow spread everywhere. Irises, more white ones. Daylilies have stopped. I'm sorry, daffodils. See, they have stopped blooming. We're letting that die back to nourish the bulbs. And got a big spots somewhere here of daisies. I think they're in this little patch. Needs to be weeded. There's plenty to do. We'll be working on it. Plenty of Stelladoras across the front here. And again, it's weeding time. Okay. See what else I can see in here. Looks like some more ajuga and a rose campion coming through. Ugh. See that grass seed? I totally dislike that. Let me think about this. It's either red hot pokers or the ones that are solid yellow. Got 3 big clumps of that. But you can see I have some repeats, and I like it that way because that just means on their own they survive here and they were multiplying. I've got another little bed over here. Gets a little bit more sun on the top side, and you can see some daffodils, stelladoras. That's about all I see. Some monkey grass, or liripe as y'all like to call it. Rose campion down here. More daffodils. And if I look back, I want to walk back across the front of the house. This is the bed across the front of the house. Let me do some explaining here. I've got some variegated liripe on the edge through here. Some daylilies. You can see that I've got some elephant ears popping up right here, and these look like carrots. Probably seed just blew from the kitchen garden last year. And elephant ears there. I've got 3, I think, blueberries in here. Now the bag is coffee grounds. We tend to pick up a bag of coffee grounds frequently from Starbucks. If you'll call them and tell them in advance, that is a tiny, tiny bag. They will save their grounds for the day, and it'll be a huge, that bag will be full. But here is a blueberry. I'll get enough coffee grounds in the next week or so to get a nice ring of coffee around each one. These I believe are Stelladora. I don't know. I don't remember what colors these are. My friend Bonnie gave me some plants from her garden. Here's some irises. And I believe most of the stuff up here came from her garden except all these strawberries. You can see that we have tons of strawberries. Again, I'm using that as a ground cover. Why not? I have the Rogue cabbage here. Oh, and I've got potatoes. Let me come back here so you can see. Back here you'll see a combination of potatoes popping up. Okay. All the way, there is a line all the way down. And again, my house is like 80 feet long, and then probably another 50 feet down there of fencing, but the potato row goes all the way down. This section and the second section before the steps, those were leftovers from last year's potatoes that we grew, which was our first time growing. But here you're going to see just a combination of strawberries, daylilies, what do you call this, Purple Heart. And that I'm glad is coming back again from Bonnie. My son helped me the other day move some daffodils that were different colors. It seems like most of what I had left was solid yellows. So I moved the ones that were not solid yellows. And you can see the potato line continues all the way down to the edge of the house there. More Purple Heart. Great hyacinths here, I think. Moved some of those over here. Here's my son's dog. And some more daylilies. These, I think, are also daylilies. They were in my hospital bed. I assume they came from Peggy's house because I think that's the only trip my daughter made for me. This is a citrus tree that's supposedly cold hardy here. Citramelo, I believe they call it. So I'm excited about that. Variegated variety at the front. Potatoes are continuing. This is another blueberry. And there's my son's dog. Cappy, stop crying. And then we've got some Joan J raspberries. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see any life in 4 and 5 yet, but hopefully it's coming. Potatoes continuing, but very sparse down through here. These were planted last, but we recently had a good rain, and so I am hoping for lots of potatoes this year. I think I've got another bag my daughter-in-law gave me out of the kitchen. She said was starting to sprout and she didn't want to use them. And a rogue raspberry down here by itself. I don't remember where I got that from, but it is not looking happy. So this is my pool hill garden. There's a pool, this is on a hill. Simple. I got an azalea that, again, we used to have a whole lot more trees, but that one is still sitting there. And then my walkways, I like flowers. So more daylilies, looks like. Solid liriape here on the corner. And this is my walkway through the cattle panels. 4 beds, raised beds on the right, just a hill of flowers on the left that needs some desperate weeding. Nothing in this cage, it's just sitting here. Most of these beds right now are set up the same. I've got some borage coming back from last year, a chicory that I had raised on the inside and already brought out. I've got little peas on all my trellises right now, getting started, and a variety of garlic in each bed. Here's some basil left from last year. Last year all I had was Genovese basil, but these I think will probably have some living ones. Onions coming back from last year. A little bit of garlic down the middle. Not seeing very much on this one. Peas doing well. Chicory right here. Now, I believe that this is all Jerusalem artichoke from seed. I did buy some tubers a couple years ago, but we planted all those at my daughter's house. Didn't even plant them on this property. The only thing I had on this property was a little seed pack, and I last year had one Jerusalem artichoke pop up mystery-wise in this bed. I believe it's because my son had gotten some rabbit poo from my rabbits, and in that area was where I had also dropped the seed for the Jerusalem artichoke. I actually had tried to winter sow it in that area, and the jug was there, and then I just planted out the jug and had very tiny things that never made a real plant. But when it got transferred over here, you know, as basically a mulch on top of this bed, then last year I had one beautiful Jerusalem artichoke, and now I pulled it out and planted it somewhere else, and it has not come up. But I've got all these little babies that I am pretty sure is Jerusalem artichokes. We'll see. Likewise on the 4th bed here, got a chicory on the edge. Peas getting ready to come up the trellis. Don't see anything else. I do have garlic planted in here, but I don't see much of it. I see like one. Okay, and that'll keep coming up. This is some asparagus coming back, if you can see it on the hill here. And oh my goodness, I believe that's a Jerusalem artichoke amongst my asparagus. That's interesting. There's a little asparagus on the end. There he is. I also have asparagus next to the rock wall down here. We'll go down and look at that. But across the hill, you see plenty of ditch lilies, plenty of iris, and plenty of weeds. My intention is to pull the weeds out and put strawberries back here to take over as a ground cover. A few little daylilies that have slipped through or come back in my walkway, and I'll be getting those moved while they're still small. Always better to take care of it when it's little than when it's big. Definitely going to have to pull back away from the edge of this trellis so that I can plant on both sides of it. All right, more evidence my son's helped me in the garden even after working a whole day. Thank you, Hunter.
You're welcome, Mom.
This is my sunniest area right now, so I'm intending to put my big tomatoes up here on the right side of the trellises, because I'm wanting to focus on having bigger tomatoes this year. Over here I have a new bed my son has put up for me. He had these extra garden blocks from the elephant ear garden. I'll show you that in a second, and some extra cattle panels and T-posts. So nice and sunny over here. It's about noon or 1 o'clock now. So this is the front of my house is south. This is west. So we get decent sun over here, and you can see my messy world. Here are my jugs. I did notice that if I can get the camera, how do I do this? Can you see anything in there? These are marigolds. These are marigolds. I read online that marigold seeds only last 1 to 2 years. So I wanted to use up, I see marigolds in there. Cilantro, I don't see anything coming in the cilantro jugs yet, and it might be too hot. Woo, I see dill, look at that. I see dill coming up in there. Texas hibiscus red. So what I'm trying to start back here are additional herbs that did not do so well in my small seed starting that I tried inside. They did okay, but not well. And then anything that individuals had given me. Oh, got some sunflowers coming up in here, and in here looks good. Oh, in here is, I don't know if you can see anything, alyssum. These different herbs and such are just the Dollar Tree little stackables, which I like. And I planted out from my little seed sales things that I had been leaving in there too long, and they really started to look like they were having failure to thrive. So they're doing much better since I planted them out in these little towers. Oh, here's the other asparagus I said I would show you on the hill here. You can see it. There we go. Little asparagus. I think they're going to do okay on this hill. And again, I want to come in. Put my hand back here. You see them better that way? And back here. And back here so you can see them. There you go. Gonna do okay on this hill. And then replace all these weeds with strawberries, and that'll be great. I do have my green stalk planted. I repotted I put some strawberries around the top row. The rest of it is completely filled with lettuces that I had started inside, and I've heard that as your lettuces start to bolt, then you could put in arugula seeds. So, but we're doing okay here. That arugula, you know, the summers won't be too hot for it to germinate outside. Love the little oak leaf there. That's so pretty. My lettuces, I'm actually loving this idea. Okay. And then just come in behind it with arugula seeds to keep it going, greens going all summer. Let's see what I have here these are Roselle hibiscus that I had started from seed in the little cells and up potted. This is my one nice Mizuna that I still have. The rest of these, I'm sorry, not Mizuna, this is Moringa. I actually have two. One pretty one and one that was a stick. But the others, which I had a total of 6, deceased out in those cells. Again, I should not have left them there so long. But Roselle hibiscus was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 1 6 pack. They are doing well. These are a combination of, let's see, I believe I had 4 or 5 loofah, and the rest are ground cherries, either Aunt Molly's ground cherries or, what was the other one? Pineapple. You can see here my ginger is doing well. Got some onion that I need to separate out. These are all sweet potato slips. And this is chicory. This is chamomiles. One is German chamomile, which is an annual. The other is Roman, which is a perennial. So I won't be buying any more German. I like perennials a lot. This is all feverfew. This is all toothache plant. I did one little 6-pack, and except for the Rogue Must Have Dropped a Pepper seed, because that's clearly a pepper. And then in this last one, looks like I've got, let me switch hands here. I've got some comfrey, a stevia, more comfrey. So it looks like I've got a few comfreys and a stevia in there. Today's potting up is intended to be my eggplants and my peppers. Look at those beautiful peppers, but they are crammed. I usually put 5 seeds in each cell of a 6-pack. Unless this must be cayenne. No, it's not cayenne. But I usually will just do 1 cell for each variety, except cayenne. I'll do several of those because Richard, my mother's husband, loves them. And then I need to take these in. This is definitely too much sun for them. I brought them out to get a little rainwater yesterday evening. It was overcast all day. And they've been in the shade until about an hour ago. So these babies need to go in. That's my tomatoes and basil and a little bit more dill because I was worried about the dill dying. And there is one more pot back there. I believe these are artichokes. There's one red garnet amaranth. These are cucamelons, yummy. A little bit of parsley over there. That's about all I see from the back. All right, so that is everything on the outside. Step inside to the basement. Look, the seed starting shelf is empty except for some potatoes that I'm gonna sprout because again, my daughter-in-law said they weren't worth cooking anymore. And then I have still the peppers that overwintered in here. Ignore the fern sitting right there. That pretty much, there's my lemongrass, still green. I'm happy about that because I actually don't think I've started any seeds for it. And see how this stalk is green? So there is the occasional living one. This one still has leaves even. So does the one here and the one here. So these are my flower seeds that I'm still trying to see what I'll do about. My vegetable seeds, my recycling, because I am an avid recycler, and then my potting station, or potting station, I guess in earlier months. Potting now is mostly done out at the outside table. So that is what's going on. Oh wait, I was about to skip the whole backyard. Okay, here we are at the north side of the house at the elephant ear garden. You don't see any elephant ears. They normally grow up through here. And notice that there are lots of daffodils that only a few bloomed, obviously, because this is the north side of the house. The beautiful yellow one down there I call an Easter rose. I'm not sure of its formal name, but it seems to be doing fine back here. Elephant ears will be coming, but before then I want to move these daffodils so that next year they'll have a chance to be pretty. You can see where the sun line is. Again, it's about 1 p.m. where the edge of the fence is here. When I get up in the morning and the sun rises over those Leland cypress down there, that beautiful dogwood is sticking out if you can see it. So it rises in the east and comes all the way over. This fence line is about the sun line in the morning. So the fence is actually in full sun right now. Now as the horizon or the elevation changes, we'll see what happens. But I have just put some peas in along this fence. Again, legumes never hurt anything on the inside. My sons have got all the block moved. That block, it used to be where this fence is. And last year before I got sick, we put the fence up, but we left the block because it was kind of holding the hill, if you will. So this year they pulled all the block out from the inside of the fence, tossed them out, dumped me some mulch down through here. It's a little wider than I had wanted because I would like to be able to, you know, stand on the block and never stand on the soil and still reach the fence, and I can't. So I will probably have them make this a little more narrow so I don't have to step on the soil so that I can plant on both sides. One relatively shaded most of the day and one full sun. I have another little square over here that last year I had one Sweetie 100, is that right? Super 100. Woo! can't remember, cherry tomato, and it filled up this whole square. I believe that I did put one elephant ear in that corner, and then this whole face of this railing toward the fence that has not been cleaned up was full of red Malabar spinach. So we'll see. So we've got plenty going on this way. I've got these tubs that I got off Marketplace last year and never used. A strip of grass. I hate grass. You've heard me say that. It'll be getting some cardboard, tossing all the cardboard back here right now, and we'll pull the mulch in to meet to try to get rid of as much grass as possible. This is where our big piles of mulch were. If you look at the January and February garden tour, there were literal mountains of mulch. I think I had like 23 or 4 loads of mulch back here, free from my local utility. Utility line runs through my backyard, and therefore they were clearing the lines. The mess back there is still left from Hurricane Helene. 3 big old trees down. Yellow jasmine over that little gate. It's about stopped blooming. It has been a beautiful yellow. And then I do have some figs, which right now the mulch is too high. We haven't come back here to clean up. Oh, but it's not stopping this one. I believe the ones back here are turkey figs. But nonetheless, we'll be getting this cleaned up. And this is a little peach tree that I did not get pruned. I got the ones in the front, little tiny ones, pruned. But my daughter did. And got 3 new elderberries we dug down. Let me stop saying we, because we is not me. It's my daughter dug down to get to real dirt to plant the 3 elderberries I wanted this year. 1, 2, and can you see it? Hard to tell what I'm looking at, the sunshine. 3, I believe I've got it in the frame. And then we have a relatively small mulberry tree here that is in desperate need of a prune as well. But now I think I have hit all the gardening areas, except way down there at the end where you see the Leland cypress is where I thought I would like to have my in-ground garden, and so we scooped a lot of the mulch in that direction. And I was thinking, since it's on an incline, we would tier it. But again, not sure about it getting enough sun. It is 1 p.m. and now it is in full sun, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m. 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Is that enough sun? It is what it is. We'll just experiment. That's the space we have, because swing set is over here. A little basketball goal has made it here. Soccer goal is there. Got to have room for the kids to play. Got to keep our priorities, right? Here's that Easter rose I was talking about, and it got moved from the front yard to the back during the construction because I didn't want it to get harmed. A friend, Carolyn, gave me some sprigs of it years and years ago, and it has always been so easy to just stick in the ground anywhere and have it be beautiful. So here's the other end of that elephant ear garden, and that's what we have right now. Okay, I hope you enjoyed March garden tour, and I hope you can see some improvements from January's tour and February's tour. If you're interested in this content, subscribe, give me a like, share it with somebody you know does appreciate gardening. And if you want to go to my site, Midlife No Crisis, you might find videos on specific things like sweet potatoes or tomatoes or stuff like that. Give me a comment, let me know what you would like to see, and I'd be happy to make a video. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye-bye.